And then, and she does more of her spooky shit. And then they come out of that and they send Lashley to the ring. They just said, for anybody who hadn't been paying attention for the last 20 years, they did a package that makes you think, wow, those guys are serious and they're athletes. And this is a legitimate thing you can look up to, this wrestling stuff. And then here's this bleach blonde little girl that's possessed by the doll of the devil and with a fake psychiatrist. And then, and here's one of those badasses going to the ring. I get whiplash from snapping my head back and forth between the sublime and the ridiculous. So, after 2 hours and 45 minutes of this fucking program, where there was a decent little exhibition of wrestling between Austin Theory and Finn Balor, we finally get Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins after that package, and we might be interested in Lashley. And Rollins, he can work when they let him, but the bell rings, 15 minutes is on the air. And I'm not sure about booking this to begin with because Seth has Reigns at the Rumble. Lashley has Brock. What's the upside here? Lashley needs to be a beast, but Seth can't just be a Super Bowl because he's going to be facing the fucking head of the table. So how are they going to work this? Because Seth has to make Lashley a monster, but has to somehow still be capable in the people's eyes of standing up to Roman Reigns. And within 2 minutes, they went to break. So I don't even know what the fuck. They come back from the break. They got less than 10 minutes on the air. And while they had gone to break with Rollins down, now Rollins is getting heat on Lashley's leg. And Lashley is having to sell down and mostly immobile. And I believe I've mentioned how that's the worst thing that you can do to a beast or a monster is have them down on their back and immobile. And he spent a long time in a leg hold. And this was either a clash of styles or just the wrong kind of match to have for Bobby Lashley. And if it was an issue, don't give him so much time. If you didn't want him to have any time, even though they were barely there to begin with, but on this fucking program, I'd have rather seen 5 minutes of action than Lashley selling a fucking leg lock on his back like a turtle. They just built him as a monster, and also he's a shooter and a Bellator fighter, and Seth Rollins is out wrestling him. So, and then he was immobile and a half crab for a while. And I zoned out for a bit. And then Lashley made a nice comeback, hit some of his big moves. They went back and forth. Rollins hit a pedigree for a 2 count. Lashley was way too vulnerable here in this with a big match with Brock coming up. And then Lashley, they go to the top rope, and of course they've got to struggle, and Lashley belly to bellies Rollins off the top rope. Threw him halfway across the fucking ring. There was no cover. He belly to bellies Seth Rollins off the top rope halfway across the ring. Both of them lay there selling for 5 seconds. And then Shelton and Cedric come out and pull Lashley to the floor. And by the time they hit him the first time, the bell is ringing DQ. Oh, God damn it. A horrible finish out of nowhere. Then Shelton and Cedric are beating on Lashley in front of MVP, who has to stand there and yeah, hey, you boys, quit that. They buried him. I know he's a manager now, and also he's had some type of injury, which I believe is a real life injury, and they've worked it in, but he's got a cane in his hand, and he's a man, and he's an ex-wrestler. And he's having to watch Cedric and Shelton beat up Lashley while Rollins recuperates from the big belly to belly, the DQ out of nowhere. Then Lashley gets up. And Brian, do you remember what he did last week, the last time that they interrupted one of his matches? And he beat up both Cedric and Shelton single-handed on the floor and left them laying?
I remember you saying that, yeah.
He did it again. So again, they think, okay, we'll let Lashley be out wrestled by a guy with, and I mean, let's face it, since they've called attention to Brock and Lashley's shooter backgrounds, Seth don't have one. So we're going to have Lashley, our shooter, out wrestled. Then we're going to do a cheap DQ and a short match. Then he's going to kick the shit out of the guys he kicked the shit out of last week to get some of his heat back. But meanwhile, the Usos ran out and Rollins stood up to watch Lashley get the shit kicked out of him. And the Usos super kicked Rollins and knocked him out. So I wrote, what is happening here? And that's the way they went off the air on 3 hours of Raw. So now I want to see Lashley and Brock less than I did after the package.
Yeah, it's a show that doesn't make you ever want to tune in again. Because that happens every time I make the mistake of watching it again.
And like I said, you know, the package was great and you get to see a little bit of theory, but I don't have the first goddamn clue what they're thinking with these guys. And everybody's just mad at everybody whenever it's convenient. And everybody runs in and just does whatever. And the matches are afterthoughts and the finishes are, these aren't dusty finishes or cheap finishes or fuck finishes. These are just lazy booking, get out of it finishes. I don't know what's going on, Brian.
Well, what do you feel like doing after watching it? Do you feel like exercising or shaving your balls? I'm not sure.
No, I don't know what's going on. So I stay in a state of confusion. But thankfully, we have a new sponsor here on the program that can keep me confused whenever I need it. Folks, our new sponsor, the fine friends that we've got at IOLO. That's IOLO.com. And you're saying to yourself, well, what the heck does that mean there, Jim? Well, I'll tell you. I don't know. All I do know is that they're asking a lot of questions here at IOLO. Did you know, Brian, that making your computer run faster can also make it more private and secure? Did you know? Were you aware of that?
Sounds logical, sure.
Well, that's because your computer is constantly being slowed down by unwanted apps, tracking apps that follow you around the web. Even viruses and malware can slow you down. Did you know that you had these people following you all around the web as you made your way around the web? There are people following you. They're wearing dark glasses and dark clothing, and they're trying to stay in the shadows, but they're tracking your ass. And that's not all, Brian. Social sites and criminals alike. Criminals, no good nicks, are cashing in on personal data that they collect from you on the internet. Hey, folks, I'm not trying to scare you, but this is fucking dangerous. But fortunately, there are simple steps that you can take to protect your privacy and identity. And I was not aware of this until the folks at IOLO told me. Usually, I would just change my name and use one of my 3 or 4 Social Security cards. But you can't just do something simple like that anymore. Brian, you gotta be high tech with this stuff. For example, what do you get when you type "why is my" into Google? What do you get?
What do you get when you type what?
Why is my? The words, when you type "why is my" into Google, I usually get dick drooping,
What?
wife a bitch. But one of the first autocomplete options when you type "why is my" into Google, it'll come up "computer so slow," because that's the question that thousands of PC users ask every day. So it's fair to say that performance lag is a significant complaint. I'm sure you've had people complain about your performance lagging.
Never.
Well, thousands of PC users ask it every day. Type "why is my" into Google and see what you come up with. Speed up, secure, and simplify your digital life with IOLO's all-in-one Windows optimization, antivirus, and online privacy software suite called System Mechanic Ultimate Defense, or SMUD.
That sounds
Folks,
good for you.
That's what I need. I'm telling you what, because I need sped up. I need security. I need simplification. And if I knew what all this other shit was, I'd need it too. Folks, if you have multiple PCs at home, movie phones or move phones or movie phones, I don't know if that's a misprint or not. Hello, this is Movie Phone. What movie would you like to see? Tablets and smart TVs. If you have all of these things in your home, you probably are trying to manage all this yourself. And who wants to do that? Iolo's System Mechanic Ultimate Defense, SMUD, comes with a tech support plan that covers all of your internet-connected devices whenever you have a tech issue. You make one phone call and Iolo will fix your issue immediately, any time of the day or night. That's right, whenever you have a technical issue. Say your cable TV goes out, refrigerator's not running, the fucking microwave blinks out on you, and they'll fix it over the phone, right?
They will help you right away with your SMUD issues.
But it works for all the technical things in the house, right? All the things you plug in, I guess. Telephones. If you got a telegraph machine, they'll give you
I don't know about
all
that.
kinds of advice.
I don't know about that.
But anyway, folks, if you're concerned about your online footprint, and having your footprints or your fingerprints online can be very, very dangerous to your security. If you're concerned about computer vulnerabilities, you want the 24/7 live tech support located right here in the US of A. Well, then get SMUD from Iolo. That's System Mechanic Ultimate Defense. And right now, don't wait, because for one thing, companies like Dell, Best Buy, Lenovo, Yahoo, and Amazon resell SMUD because they trust its reputation. And if these people will sell SMUD out in the open, I'm not talking about dealing it out of a raincoat in a back alley somewhere, selling it right out in the open. You know it must be a quality product that does something that you're going to need. I don't know what, but you're going to fucking need this. So right now, don't wait. Go to Iolo, that's IOLO.com, and use the code JCE, and you will save 60% on SMUD and get 30 days of live tech support for free. Iolo, IOLO.com. Use the code JCE, 60% off the SMUD defense system and 30 days of live tech support. Will you need the tech support every single day? You'll have it there. They'll give it to you. But boy, you'd have to be a fucking bonehead to need it every day. Ask all your questions at one time. But they're still going to be nice to you, and they'll be there for you. What does the System Mechanic Ultimate Defense System do for you, Brian, you're asking?
Yeah.
I'm still wondering.
Me too.
It maximizes processor power, unleashes internet speed, increases drive speed, and protects against all kinds of shit. And invasions and social sites and criminals alike. It'll protect you from everybody. We're not trying to scare you people. This shit's something to worry about.
All right, that's Iolo and SMUD.
There it is. Where were we?
Tuesday. I think we got past Monday. We're on Tuesday
we
now.
got past Monday. All right. Well, Tuesday, NXT.